this anti-pattern being, addicted. We're all addicted to behaviors, to certain ways of working, habitual. If you got your caffeine, this is you finally get to the point of a triple shotgun murder, feeling of worthlessness, normalcy, severe depression, that's the caffeine addiction. But for any habit you have, or any kind of addiction you have, there's a period of time where you get hooked on something. And the same thing with working in a lean manner. Like I was talking to that product manager was telling you about it. I said, would you do it anyway? He said, no, there's no way I do this any other way. I guarantee wherever he goes to work, if he can't create that, he's going to be very dissatisfied because he's actually tasted the right way to do it. And so you got to get people through enough and get enough good brain chemistry going to fuel them so that they can make it through the hard times, so they can continue to buy into this system. And we've got all kinds of, bad behaviors that we've learned, to work in isolation, to not be transparent, to not trust each other, to, all kinds of stuff, to not understand how somebody else works and the skill set, you name it. So, when you come together as a team, realize that every one of you, including yourself, has bad habits and good habits. And you're going to have to meld those kind of habits together and form habits, some habits together. One thing that helps is having a strong cadence, like we talked about, that team working agreement, where everybody's going like Thursday's usability, Friday we're doing retrospective, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we're building the next experience. We go to it. And that's really a fun kind of thing, and everybody gets into a rhythm and they start working together and they start developing patterns and habits around that sort of thing. And then there's just the simple one, the simple anti-pattern, the naysayer. It's if you get somebody on the team who's just totally negative, who just cannot see anything but the glass is actually empty, not even probably half empty, then that's going to kill you. It's when you work in this, if you work in a typical office environment where you're just in cubes and stuff like that, you can sort of like, yeah, dude, that dude's nuts. I'm not going to hang around that person. But when you're in the same room together, and you got to work and you got to collaborate and you got to get on the whiteboard together, these bad behaviors really come out pretty quick, And we set up some new value systems at PayPal, and one of them is to be honest and direct with one another. Because PayPal and eBay said this real collegiate, everybody has to agree and all that. We're trying to change it, say, look, it's still about being nice, and the purpose of eBay is, we want to level trading so that anybody in the world can be empowered. That's something unique kind of eBay has versus, say, Amazon. And so, we love the spirit of cooperation and stuff, but being direct and honest with somebody. So something like this, the manager especially has to be able to pull this person aside and just talk about the negative energy they're creating, or get rid of them. We had a person on one of our second teams we started up who just was a constant, just a total drain on the team. Just had nothing but my way, the highway, negative with anybody else's ideas, kind of thing like that. And I just went to the person was another organization, in the design organization. I went to the person leading the design organization, and I said, we got to do something about this person. So we pulled the person from the team that day. The team was surprised we acted so fast. But we both felt like it was a cancer, that would really destroy the team. And it was great because the team, was actually super thankful to us. The product got better within a week or two. Usability testing was much better. So was it the right thing to do? Yeah, it was for our customers' experience, right? I mean, yeah, this person, got pulled out of that role and got explained to why they were being pulled out of the role. And that's a tough thing to do, but I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to either be successful or not. And this is hard, and a lot of companies don't do it, but you have to be able to do something like that and be willing to, if you're going to be in this sort of a this sort of environment where it's so transparent and you spend so much time together. The visitor is sort of like the newcomer, except this is somebody who's not really on the team. They just come to visit the team, and usually it's one of the execs or something like that. Like David, our president, loved to drop by. He was, for a while we were on just one floor below him, which he loved because he'd just pop in any time. And at first it's a little bit intimidating. It's the president of PayPal who walks in. We got to know him. It's like he's just like, dude, don't do anything special for me. He's like, he understands demos don't work sometimes, stuff like that. So it got to be pretty easy, and we actually really enjoyed it. Getting a chance to show him what we're doing. It motivated us, because we knew he could pop in any time, so we're always trying to be ready for something. So that was pretty positive. But one thing he would do is come down, he'd talk to the team, and then the team would like, well, David said this, well, David said that. She does that sort of thing, right? And I was telling David that one day. He goes, so next time he's down talking to the team, he says, look, guys, when I say something, it's just an idea. All that matters is what the customer thinks, not what I think. So I'm going to share with you what I think, what my ideas are, but you need to go validate these customers. Never take my word over what the customer, which was really good and the very right thing to do. You won't always have executives be that way, though, right? But you have to really be careful. And the only way, the solution to this whole thing, again, is the customer trumps the executive. Now, that may not fly in some companies, but if you have the data and you show it, they can ignore it, but there's the data, and you can start there and see where you end up with. But thankfully we're able to use that, and in Netflix we do the same thing. The magic tool. So this is where I was kind of hinting at earlier, things like Azure and these other prototyping tools. If you're not careful, what happens is the design team will take these tools, they'll go off and they'll do all the designs, they'll do all the iterations, and then they'll come back at some late stage because they've just had this wonderful happy party with themselves or among themselves doing all this design, but it's not, maybe not feasible engineering wise or whatever else. They've had no input. And the other side of it is really not very valuable, is that you've cut off part of the team from even part of the solution, so you miss some of the value. Now, I'll balance that with saying that Azure and these sort of tools are really good for exploration, that you don't want to like drag the team through and you don't make them iterate through. You can sort of do some things. But the magic tool, if you're not careful, you sort of get this nirvana about it, it's going to be so great, is that if it replaces collaboration and shared understanding, then it's actually can become dangerous, right? You use these tools as a means to collaborate, never revert to the model of I'm the design team and I've done this thing, I'm delivering it to you. You no longer deliver to me, we deliver to the customer the experience. And I think that's a big mind shift, for everybody involved.